Alright y'all, I've got this vent hood cabinet in the shop today, so I figured I'm going to do a little how-to video on building these things. Now, this one right here in particular is called a standalone angled back vent hood. Standalone because it does not attach to any other cabinetry. Angled back because it angles back. Alright, this is pretty much a standard one. These things are always pretty much a bottom box, a top box, and an angled back cowl. Now this one gets painted, so everything is 3/4 birch, poplar for the trim, and it's an MDF routed panel that we ordered from our door company just to make building time a little bit quicker. Now, I always build mine with the cowl that comes off. That way, once it's attached to the wall, they can work with their pipe, do whatever they got to do, put that on and be done with it. But anyway, let's get y'all here and kind of show you what's going on. And I think the main thing everybody wants to know is the angles anyway. But this is basically what I've got. Get my fingers out of the way. I've got a plywood box, and I'll just put that MDF front on the front of it. The reason I did a full box with a front band in it is so that the vent hood can screw to it. Anyway, that's that. See if I can get a good picture. That, and it's just, that board is just screwed in at the top. Just screwed to that at the bottom. I just left enough room for my vent hood to go through and work. Then my angled back cowl. Let's get you where you can see it. I'm probably wobbling y'all all over. But anyway, that's what I did on that. I did my angle. Then I just put a piece of 1/2 inch plywood on top. Mounted my trim to that. That leaves a 1/4 inch. That way it slips right over top of that box there. Everything covers up. Alright, let's carry y'all over here. The main thing that everybody wants to see is the angles. And this is real simple. You don't have to worry about getting technical with it. This is the layout. Once you figure out your bottom box, what size it needs to be, then you can start your layout. Draw your box, figure out your height. Now for me, in my area, any exposed wood has got to be 30 inches above the cooktop surface. So that gives me my height. I've got to come that far and then to the ceiling, so I get my height from there. I always go about 32 just to make sure everything clears right. Depends on how tall my ceiling is, how much room I got. But anyway, this is my layout. Once I found my bottom box, the size of it, I knew what size I wanted to do my top box, and just make my angle go from there to there. Now mine, the front leans back the same distance that the sides lean in. So I just do one layout. I don't do a side layout and a front layout. I do one layout, and then you see where my line is there, half of that is my side layout. So anyway, y'all want to figure out the angles. So you see you've got the angle of the cowl right there. And what I do, y'all bear with me. I've only got a couple of hands here. But what I do is I take this piece of plywood here and I line it up on my line. Once I've got it lined up, I will come and wherever my marks are, I'll make a mark on the plywood. The other side, I'll do the same thing, make a mark on the plywood. Boy, this is awkward looking at the video and trying to line your pencil up. But anyway, mark it there, mark it on the other side, flip it over and just connect the marks and make you a line there. That's your angle. That's your angle for this piece of plywood here. That is this angle right here that you need. Now all you have to do now, don't worry about what it is. Just take it over to your miter saw. Take it over to your miter saw and just ease into it. Turn your saw, cut it, and try to line it up with that line. Now when I got mine, this actually turned into a 26-degree angle. And that's a 26-degree angle on the top and bottom. This was the actual board that I used right here. This was my board that I used to figure that angle out. I got it lined up at the top, lined up at the bottom. So that gives me the height that it needs to be, and it gives me my angle. So that's what my cowl needs to be. That's the height and the angle that it needs to be on the front and the sides. But once I had that, it's a matter of just using this piece here, using this, and what I'll do with this is on the table saw, I'll put it just like that, and I'll make my blade match up to that angle. And I've got it right there. Once it's matched up, I've got that angle. Then it's a matter of cutting it on the plywood. You get your height and you cut it. This was an extra piece I had right here. It's got the angle cut on it. I'm wobbling y'all all around, I know. But it's got the angle cut on it. And when I've got this, got the angle cut, my height cut, and the angle cut, I take, that's my line that the angle for the cowl needs to be. That line is exactly where the front needs to be. But what I do on that is I take me a gauge, I'll put it on that line, that's the back side of the line, this would be the front side, this would be the back side. So I've got my line right here. So anyway, I put that, I clamp it down, I take my skill saw and use that as a guide and cut that. And when I cut that, that leaves me, a little bit to the front. But I've got my line. So then I've got to figure out what angle that needs to go to make it wrap around like that. Now to figure that angle is real simple actually. You'd think you just put it on a 45, but it don't work that way. So what I do is I find a board, I cut me a sacrificial board that has got that same angle right there, which would be this board that I've got here. It's got the angle on it. Now what I do with it, I take it to the chop saw, miter saw, whatever the hell y'all want to call it. I bed it like you're cutting a piece of crown molding, bedded with the angle, turn the saw on a 45 and cut that, and cut two pieces. And I take those two pieces and I double check them. Hang tight just a second. Like I say, I've only got two hands, but I will double check them by putting them together like that, letting them sit flat and then putting them together and making sure that comes out to a 90-degree corner. And that's it. That's your angle for that. So that's how you find your angles. Basically you do a layout, you take you a stick, mark it, cut it till it fits right. You might have to make a couple of marks, you might have to make a couple of cuts, but just cut it till it fits right. There's a couple different ways to check it once you get it cut, but basically if it fits on your layout, that's what you need. That's what I've got right here. Cut that, figure out your distance and your top and bottom angle, then you cut your front and your side pieces and put the angle on those just like I showed you. Put it embedded on the chop saw and then put it together. And just like that, make sure it comes to a 90-degree corner. And once you've got that 90-degree corner, that's your angle. And that's how it comes out. Now I hope this video isn't too long to load. If anybody's got any questions, I'm going to post this on Facebook, so if anybody's got any questions, y'all can comment and ask whatever you need to. Alright, y'all have a good one.